The root of all excellence.
Welcome to the Root of All Excellent podcast. We are back.
Hi, everybody.
I want to thank everybody for listening. You gonna say something?
Back for another one.
Yeah. Yeah. So this week has been like, like super exciting. I know on our last episode I kind of left off with the whole Brett Favre situation, right?
Right.
And so, I kind of wanted to jump back into that. Before we do, how's your day? How's everything going? Is everything smooth?
Yeah, so far so good. Just getting to it. Yeah, nothing standing out really.
Okay.
Still in California.
All right. I've just been tired, man. I think I've just been tired. I think I slept too much, and it makes you like more tired. Yeah. So.
In the process of catching up.
Yeah. So maybe this is just some sleep is something I need, but yeah. So I've been like pretty much sleeping this entire time. So with the Brett Favre situation, right? I'm not completely sure how, he was able to steal all of that money. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's other people involved, other important people
I'm sure
involved, right? I just feel like this is huge, I feel like this is bigger than, Michael Vick fighting dogs or, some of the other things that football players, just active and retired, has been in the news for. And I feel like this is not getting that much coverage, right? For whatever reason.
Right.
And it seems like, it's just kind of unfair. I think that anytime you're rich and you steal this amount of money from the welfare, right? I mean,
right.
These are already poor people, or
right.
People that can't afford a certain level of life, and it's not really getting any coverage. I know that I was watching ESPN, and a couple of people had mentioned that while they're on ESPN, that it's not getting a lot of coverage. And it's like, yo, why didn't y'all throw it into y'all little segment? You know what I mean?
Right.
How do you feel about, just a person who's rich, famous, and he's already, he's like stealing, and how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I guess I don't think it's too crazy. I think that a lot of people take advantage of welfare, and a lot of people take advantage of ways to get money that aren't necessarily legit. So I feel like it just falls in one of those categories for me, right? So granted, he is a millionaire already, so I don't even know why he would put himself at risk for this. I think it's just an unnecessary risk for him to take.
Definitely.
I mean, considering, so it's $5 million, right?
Yeah.
$5 million that he stole from welfare, or right, $5 million worth of welfare that he's stolen. But I just feel like, I guess I would just wonder what would be the point, or why would you want to do that if you're already a millionaire? Like, I could see, okay, you're a millionaire, you run in these circles, right? You're popular, you have given donations, political or whatever, right? So you have these political connections. And so now there's some type of scheme to defraud
Right.
the welfare system, which I guess unless you don't have money, I don't know
Right.
why you would risk that. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you're already a millionaire, why do you want another $5 million with this risk? I mean, I get why you would want to just keep growing your money, right?
Right.
But I don't get why you would take the risk that this is involving for
Yeah, I
$5
doubt
million if you
it.
already have millions of dollars. So maybe he went
But
broke.
I think
Maybe it's the
situations like
situation
this
of the
happens all the
rich
time,
athlete
right?
that went broke.
We just don't hear about him. This is just one of those cases where he kind of got caught. But I think rich people hook other rich people up all the time, right? I think money and resources often get stole from,
Yeah.
like people who can't afford a certain level of lifestyle, right? So, I don't think it's taboo. I think he just the one individual who got caught, and who knows? Like it might be set up for him to be caught for some reason, Maybe you. Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like
Maybe he made
this
somebody
thing that they're
mad.
doing is
It's
they
just
do
not
it all the
making
time.
sense to me.
This ain't no one time kind of thing. And then the first time you do it, you get caught. No, y'all kind of had this in play the entire time. Maybe he made somebody mad and they outed him. Maybe he did something he wasn't supposed to do. But definitely rich people hook other rich people up all the time. And the crazy thing is, like, this is in Mississippi. Mississippi is like one of the poorest states we have in the United States. So literally you're stealing from like some of the poorest people. He's from Mississippi. I'm not sure if he lives there. I would think he do, but he's from Mississippi. So we kind of understand like what's going on in Mississippi,
Okay.
right? And then right now in Mississippi, they don't even have water. They are going through like a water crisis. Yeah. Right. Yo, you can't wash up with it or nothing.
The water crisis, like Flint, kind of. It seems like another water crisis
during the
where
time,
it's like really, really bad.
I'm pretty
like
sure
brown water coming
what
out
he's
of your
being
faucet.
accused of doing or what he got caught doing. I'm pretty sure like it didn't happen right now, right? But it's a coincidence that a rich person already been caught for stealing a certain amount of money from the state, really, or welfare. And then you have a water crisis, right? You have a whole water crisis going on. And you have this rich dude who has taken money. So I'm thinking like, is this like a regular thing? Do 5 million always come up? Or is it 20 million? Is it 10 million? They always come up missing? Right? Something needs to be going on because obviously the state is not taking care of business the way they're supposed to be.
To do an audit or something?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Right, for 5 million.
And I wonder how he even was able to do it because the way they
like that. So it's people within politics
like
that's in positions of power who allowed this to happen.
A large amount.
Right, and we don't know them though. We just know Brett Favre. Right. And we don't know him. We just know Brett Favre. So I feel like he a little bit of the scapegoat,
Or made it happen.
Go ahead.
Right. The only
Right.
one that got the attention. But I feel like it should definitely be a big story, especially considering that there's a water crisis and they can't even fix the water. You can't even afford your
Right.
people like
Right.
quality water.
Right.
And that's a whole nother topic of I don't know how
Super
people in the United
frustrating.
States don't have
And let me just
clean
make a
water
comment.
automatically. Like,
Right. But let me just make a comment on the water thing, right?
that's frustrating.
So we understand that, in Flint,
But then
in
not to get the
Mississippi, it's in
coverage.
other places as well that's having like this water crisis right now. And I just want to just go on record and say, but we're still sending billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight a war that does nothing for us. All right? Just wanted to say that real quick. So back to the Brett Favre thing. So, I mean, right. And then we're having like this, I mean, it's just,
Or
yeah,
going to
it's a little
different
weird.
continents, countries to help them with
So,
water.
definitely, it's something else going on that we will know about later, probably. So, right.
Yeah,
And my
I think
whole
it'll come
thing
out
is,
later.
why
Definitely
isn't like
conspiracy something
with this
going
whole
on
Brett
for people
Favre
not
thing?
to have
Like,
clean water, whole
why
cities.
don't we know more about it? Like, why? I mean, like, why are they just not covering it? Right? I only see like, kind of, little clips here and there as I'm scrolling, but for the most part, if we didn't have like this form of technology, nobody would know because it's not like really a big story. Right. So,
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, we kind of got to
All over
just
the news. Or
like pay attention to
CNN
what's
or
going
anything
on
like
because, like I said, man, this is not the first time it's happened, and I'm pretty sure other states are doing it as well, right? Because, like I said, rich people hook rich people up all the time.
that. Right.
Yeah, rich people
But I want
welfare.
to know, like, how do I get on this list, though?
Well, I mean, I
Like,
think, and to be
how do I
fair,
get in
like
the
I
rich
think a lot of
people?
rich people,
Yeah, rich people
they
welfare
get hooked
list.
up first, right? So, like, if you look at the PPP loan, not only did like regular, like small businesses get that loan, but like big corporations, right? You know what I mean? I know Tom Brady got it. Diddy got it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people got it, and it wasn't the same amount as a small business, right? So we talking about like millions of dollars. Congress got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about hundreds of thousands, right?
Millions of dollars.
Millions, okay. So I mean,
Mm-hmm. A lot of people in Congress. Millions.
right.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's available. So
Definitely.
you know how to work the system. And I think that's what kind of sets them apart, right? So they have these corporations or they have the knowledge of the loopholes that are for the corporation. So you create the corporations and then they're able to take advantage of everything that they know is about to happen.
Also, but I don't think that's what Brett Favre did, and that's why he's
I get my loan and then I get it forgiven.
Fire.
It's free money.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. This is definitely like stealing.
Yeah, no, this is welfare. So
but
it's not
going
alone.
back to, the corporations and the PPP thing,
right.
It's all intertwined, right? It's all intertwined because these corporations, like, come on, like, who you think funding it? if you have a corporation and you're funding politicians, right? We're going to make sure that your corporation is doing good so you can keep funding us. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's quid pro quo, you know? One hand washes the other and we keep it moving. Right? And I'm pretty sure, like, because it's like that, different corporations and things like that, they know about, like, these loopholes and how they can get free money and things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They're lawyers.
Right.
They're friends that are other rich
I just
people.
felt like, you know,
people
just kind of
they're in their pockets.
I kind of felt like,
you know,
definitely, we kind of needed to talk about that because that's something that, you know, that is going on and most people are not talking about it. And anytime you're stealing from people who already can't afford anything, it's terrible. In one of the poorest states, and then we understand what kind of history Mississippi has. So, just kind of want to touch base on that. And then we have, like, you know, the coach from Boston situation. How did you feel about that and how big it is?
That's really big. And I guess it's interesting to see the contrast of stealing millions of dollars versus cheating and getting caught having a romantic relationship.
Right.
But it seems interesting, though, because, I mean, people cheat, people have relationships with coworkers and all this. But the fact that he got suspended and the fact that it kind of keeps developing, like, I feel like there's more information and more to the story than he just had an affair with a coworker.
Right. It got to be something like sick and twisted, like in between this. And the only reason I'm saying that is because, you know, he got suspended. Usually it's an investigation whenever you get suspended, right? Right.
So I guess there was an investigation. They've known for months, and the investigation has been going on for a few months.
Okay, so maybe they already knew. So this is what I understand about it, right? So, I felt like the Celtics learned about it early, right? And they kind of jumped out in front so that nobody else is exposing, like, their dirt.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess the Celtics head coach, was suspended because of a sexual relationship with a staff member of the Celtics.
Now, let me ask, do you think, like, it's like somebody, like, it's not like a cheerleader or nothing, it's like somebody who's, like, big, like whether it's like the owner daughter or something, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like to make it this big of a deal, because I'm pretty sure, like, within sports, you got this male dominated kind of, like, you know, this male dominated corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation, right?
Right.
And it's like male dominated, and then you have, like, you know, like, you insert females here and there. I'm pretty sure this is not like a new thing.
It can't be.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even like a far reach in general, just a general situation, how it's been described. Consensual sex between coworkers, and he is in a relationship. Not married, engaged in a relationship.
Right.
But he gets suspended for a whole season.
Right.
So it's got to be something more.
Yeah, because I remember, like, Phil Jackson was dating, like, the owner of the Lakers' daughter. They were, like, in a relationship. Oh, yeah? Yeah, they were, like, in a relationship type shit. So, like, this is not like, this is not like, uncommon that we kind of see within the workplace. And they don't have to just be sports, in any workplace. It's like that.
Right.
So
Right.
So yeah, it was like strange that not only did they jump out in front of it, but it was like, okay, now we're gonna suspend them for a year. And we understand that if it's this big already, then you guys probably gonna fire them.
Right.
So like I felt like that was the Band-Aid real quick. Like, okay, we're gonna suspend them for a year, like to kind of put a Band-Aid on how big it's growing.
And kind of go from there.
Yeah, but
because it does say like we'll determine in the future. We haven't determined what that future looks like with him.
Right. I just think, and then it's very vague when it comes to like everything that kind of went on. Like we don't know the other person,
right?
So I don't know.
I think that people are going to start digging, and it's going to be found out.
Yeah, eventually everything is come out, But,
right.
It's very right now. It's just like bland a little bit, where like we just know, what he's being accused of, and they suspended him, and that's pretty much it. Like we don't know the other female. We don't know like how long this had went on for. So I think personally, it's something in here that says like twisted to me, because because mind you, now in his contract it might be like you can't be just fraternizing, right?
Okay.
So
maybe
right, it could be right, but even if that was the case, I don't know if like, come on now. We sweep that under the rug. We Boston Celtics. We was just in the finals last year. We sweeping that shit up under the rug, man. If it was just that.
Right.
So I feel like, and some people say it was like not consensual, which I don't understand.
Right. So maybe there's something in terms of like quid pro quo, where you do something for me, I'll do something for you kind of situation.
Right.
Like, I'm asking for like favors, but you're not really into it. Or maybe there's multiple women that he's kind of approached, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Something else has to be going on to make it this big. It's just them having a consensual relationship.
Right. It's not enough.
Cheating. Yeah, he's not married.
Right.
They're not married, but he's with Nia Long, right? So that's where all the Nia Long comments come in.
Right.
But just that, in terms of work and the work relationship, I don't see you being suspended at work.
Right. And that's the strange thing. It's very telling.
Right.
So, I mean, go ahead.
I think more is going to come out. I think this caught some people's attention, and you know how people like to dig and get more details.
Yeah, you got like the internet detectives out here working overtime, So
I have a feeling.
So if they don't tell us,
paparazzi, internet detectives.
Yeah, they're gonna find out. And there's enough nerds out there who just in the computer room just with 4 screens. They gonna find it out.
Yep. Looking to go viral.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to be the person that cracks the case.
Right. So, I guess from now on, and then I feel like, because I watch ESPN, and different personalities have their opinion on what's going on, and you can kind of tell like some people know and some people don't. Right? Some people know it's other things that went on. You can kind of tell, and some people don't know there's other things that's gonna come out, and you can kind of tell based on different people reaction to certain people taking their side, right? So, so a basketball player. I'm trying to figure out his name. I can't remember his name. He's got the podcast, All the Smoke with Stephen Jackson.
Okay.
So anyway, he came out in support, of the coach, and I'm only calling him the coach because I do not know how to pronounce Buddy's name. So, he came out in support of the coach. The next day, he took that shit right down and issued an apology. So something is going on where, like, hey, like it's something finna within, and we can kind of like update as more information comes out about this type of thing. It's just, I feel like it's gonna get bigger. This story is gonna gain more traction and get bigger, and you don't know where it's going.
More details are gonna come out,
right? And we don't know where it's gonna end up,
right?
How do you think that this have affected like Nia Long though?
Honestly, I don't know. So from what I read was that they met in 2010, had a kid in 2011,
right?
And they've been engaged since 2015. I want to say,
right?
So, but they're not married. They've been engaged for 7 years.
Right. More than half
something
the time.
Is up in that. Yeah, something's up in their relationship. So I know that she had just moved to Boston. It said that she had just moved to Boston a couple weeks ago, and they were going to be living together, and she moved the whole family.
Right.
And they were going to be good there. So she had just moved to Boston.
And he had been in Boston, correct?
Yeah. So I think there's something going on in the relationship in general.
So you think it might be like an open relationship kind of thing?
No, I don't think it's an open relationship, it could be an open relationship. But I think there's something we're not happy, everything is perfect couple.
Right.
That's the signs that it's giving me.
Right. Yeah.
Just being in that time frame and kind of how. And then I read that she had stated that she doesn't really know what marriage is like for. Like, what is it saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if that she really believes in like the whole thing of marriage and the fairy tale and all that. Like she doesn't really need that to be like, I love you.
Right.
But
sounds like
I don't know.
Sounds like it might can be an open situation if because it's very like rare that that you like, I don't want to get married kind of thing from a.
Yeah, I think it might be like I don't want to get married type of thing. But then there's like kind of like the ownership piece of marriage where your dad gives you away to your husband. So then what does it mean like in that instance?
Okay. So you feel like it's...
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like now I belong to you, under you kind of thing.
Right. Okay. So you feel like it's symbolic?
What?
Like marriage.
Is marriage symbolic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think the tradition of marriage is very odd to me.
Okay.
Just like the traditional like things that you find in the wedding. You know what I mean?
What kind of things?
Like the dad giving away the bride to, or the family giving away the bride to the groom. I think that's very odd to me. And then the bride changes her last name to the groom's last name from her father's last name.
But do you think that has more to do with like history rather than like, you know, because I feel like you're saying like like ownership almost, right? Like you're
A piece
transferring.
of property.
Right. So do
Mm-hmm.
you think they have more to do with history rather than like ownership?
Have more to do with the history than ownership.
And what I mean by history is, not even that long ago, if we look back like 40 years, right? Um, the men was just the head of the household. They work most of the time. Women usually, stay home, take care of the house. It was a team kind of effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because the man was like the head of the household and was the person who actually went out and created, our financial status, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that has something to do with why, that would be like a thing? That portion of like a wedding would be a thing. Because if you even take it like 40 years before that, I think you go even deeper into like these roles.
Right. So I think that has to do with it, like being deeper into those roles. But I think also if we look back, women didn't have rights.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point.
So you were essentially under the care and the rights of your husband or your father.
Right.
So I think that is still in play in terms of like the wedding rituals.
Right. So you think
Like women,
that's connected?
that's where I think so. I think that's where the connection comes from. Like,
now, let me ask you this portion of the question. Let me ask you another question, right? Do you think that has to do with the way that we view women within our society?
what?
The fact that they didn't have rights, the fact that you kind of give them away. Do you think that that has to do with the way we view women within our society? Because I think that, and we can kind of see evidence of this, right? I think that women in our society is held to a different standard. They looked at as almost like more delicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
A woman can like hit you with a bat. If you push her, you going to jail, right? So like, and I'm just exaggerating, but I'm saying like we look at women a little more, right? A little more
Right.
soft. Like we got to be, you know what I mean? Like they're just delicate, right? So,
Right.
do you think that has something to do with like the traditional aspect of it, the rights thing? How do you feel?
No, I don't think that's connected with the right thing. I think that's more so connected with biology thing. Biologically, men's muscle mass versus women's muscle mass
Right.
kind of thing. I do think that, so like if a man hits you versus if a woman hits you, the damage that could be caused could be different depending on, like, if they do the exact same thing in terms of like working out, weight, muscle, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like if a grown man hits you versus I'll say the average grown man versus the average grown woman.
Yeah.
There's going to be a difference in terms of like the impact that'll have. But like if there's like a bodybuilder woman versus like the average Joe guy, the bodybuilder woman I would expect would be hitting harder.
Right.
So there's going to be a variance, right? But just saying biologically, men versus women, men have stronger muscle mass.
Right.
Physically.
Right. I don't know.
So,
I mean, because some of these dudes weak as hell out here.
Right. But that's
I'm just joking. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely like a guy is gonna do more damage physically than the female, just based on the muscle mass that they're able to like produce.
Right. But I feel like now, as things are kind of shifting, I do feel like if a woman puts their hands on a man, it's not right, regardless. Like, you shouldn't put your hands on anybody.
Yeah, domestic violence.
Whether you're male, female, man, woman, whatever.
Right.
You shouldn't put your hands on anybody.
Right.
And I think you kind of set yourself up sometimes because everybody doesn't have the same level of, I don't know if I would call it respect, because I mean, at that point, you're disrespecting that person, but restraint, I'll say restraint as the next person, of getting hit and being able to walk away, or getting hit and feeling like they shouldn't retaliate.
Right.
So I feel like in those situations, right? So now we're seeing couples getting arrested for domestic violence as opposed to it just being the man getting arrested or having to leave for domestic violence.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I feel like it's more so connected to that than the tradition of women not having rights.
Okay.
But I feel like a lot of times, especially now, there's been a shift to where you're not really, there's been a bigger focus on encouraging girls to do better in school as opposed to the focus of boys doing well in school. And the expectations of girls versus the expectations of boys. I feel like there's been a shift in that. And that might be because of the rights.
You mean like as of recently?
Right, as of recently. So like you'll see like there's, and I don't know when it would have started, but if you look at a lot of the programs and focus on girls, they're like girls in STEM, so like science and math kind of focus.
Right.
There's a lot of encouragement there.
With females.
Right.
Right. Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying.
You don't see that same encouragement towards boys.
Right.
The same thing with like going to college. I see like a lot of focus in girls. I don't see that same focus in boys.
Do you think that has to, because I feel like that has to do with like kind of like the country history, because at one point a male could like provide for his family without a college degree, right? Whether it was a trade or just, a factory job or, something like that. You kind of could like really provide for your family without a degree. Now, females, on the other hand, because if you think about the time in which you could provide for your family without a degree, that was a very like specific like era, right? During this era, I think females had just started like, going into the workforce, right? At the end of like this era. Females had just started going into the workforce, and they didn't have the same opportunities as far as, kind of working in a factory, or, having a trade. Like, I still don't know like a female plumber, you know what I mean? So, so because those things were looked at as more male dominant, like, employment opportunities, I think that that's probably part of the reason why they started focusing on females actually going to college to be in like a more professional kind of work environment.
Yeah, I think that it also has to do with like before women were encouraged to find a good man to marry. Right. And have kids and build your family. The focus was family and creating a family and being a good wife. And I think because of the women's rights shift, so as women got more rights and kind of got out of that, then now you have a push for girls. And you still see the push for girls.
Yeah, I mean.
But I feel like boys need it too.
Okay, yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, because those same opportunities that was there maybe even 30 years ago are just not there anymore.
Right.
So, I agree, but a lot of the things that that we do based on societal norms have everything to do with the mindset of society, and so, I mean, I kind of agree with, giving the female away. It's sort of like, like ownership a little bit. But also, I mean, recently you have dudes like taking the wife name, or they merging it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess we're kind of moving away from that tradition a little bit, little by little.
Yeah, but then there's still people that are very adamant that.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm like, oh, you took her name, huh? Okay. You gonna be wearing her dresses too? That's how I feel. I don't know. I shouldn't feel like that, but I feel like,
and I guess that's the issue.
But mind you, like, I'm in our relationship, I'll cook, I'll wash the clothes. I'm not like that type of guy. But come on, bro. If one of my friends take the last name, the jokes are never end.
But why?
Because of the way things are set up, right? So let's just use us as an example, right?
Okay.
If I was to take your last name, it wouldn't be really your last name. It'd be your dad's last name.
It'd be hyphenated.
No, it would be a
hyphenated last name.
I understand, but it'd still be your dad's last name. Right? So, I mean, I'm taking another man's name.
You already have another man's name.
Yeah, but he's my dad. In most cases.
Okay.
Right? Come on. Like, I'm not.
I just don't understand it.
Maybe I'm conservative in that way.
Definitely.
But I know that if one of my friends come to me and say, yo, my name is not Johnson no more, it's Garcia. I'm like, how you change your name? Would you just decided that you don't want to? No. Listen, I took my wife. The jokes is never gonna stop.
But if it's Garcia Johnson,
I mean, yeah, I can understand. I still have jokes.
That represents like a blended family,
right? And
as opposed to now you are under me.
Right, but that's not what that means, though.
It is.
It's just traditional, man.
Right, but why is it that way?
I honestly believe that things mean what we make them mean.
Okay.
Right.
We can change it.
Yeah, we definitely cannot do the things that, like, because right now, I mean, I feel like if we look at like maybe 200 years ago, maybe 300 years ago, it was more like misogynistic things related to that, right? And I don't feel like we're there now, so we definitely can change like the narrative behind why things are the way they are.
You can't change why things are the way they are.
Not
you
why.
You can probably change what they mean.
That's what I mean. There we go. Thank you.
So you can't change why things are the way they are.
Definitely. There we go. We do.
Because at the end of the day, it's because of the misogyny that is a tradition.
Okay, and I agree. But we can change what they mean to us.
Right. And so that's why you can get a hyphenated last name.
That's goofy, man. That's goofy. I'm always think that's goofy. I do not care. I'm always think, oh man, that shit is goofy as hell. Now, don't get me wrong. A hyphenated last name is like better than you like scrapping your last name, but still goofy.
It's a blend.
Yeah, but it's goofy.
It's a compromise.
Yeah, it's goofy. I just feel like it's goofy a little bit.
Okay. I mean, I mean, you definitely have your opinion.
Yeah, and I'm not that mature yet when it comes to living outside my box. So
The hippie way.
yeah, that's really a lot of hippie shit is goofy.
I don't know that that's true.
Oh my God.
I think a lot of things in society need to be questioned. And you need to figure out, does it really make sense? And why is it the way it is? And if you don't agree with it making sense and it needing to still be that way, you just do your own way.
Right. Okay, give me an example.
I just did. Let's do name.
Okay, I mean, okay, if you want to use that. So, but I think that we have like an emotional connection to what things are, right? We can't like throw away what we know life to be because it's.
Of course you can.
I mean, and I don't want to make this sound crazy, right? Because this the way I'm saying it could go either way. But
Okay.
we have an emotional connection to the way like things are, right? And let me just say, it's not really hurting anybody. Right? I could see like if it had a direct effect on how women is perceived by others, how they perceive themselves, and some kind of emotional or physical kind of effect on them, I would agree. Right? Anything that has that type of effect, regardless of how much it is within our society and tradition, needs to be changed. But it's not hurting nobody. How do you feel?
I mean, it's not painful. And I think, and we see this, everybody's going to make their own decision on what's right for them and their family,
right,
and what they decide to do.
Right. Some dudes are just softer than others.
But I don't know that it makes them soft. I think they're probably more willing to compromise than the other person.
Yeah, soft a little bit.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, some women don't change their name at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some women hyphenate their name, and some people change their name completely.
Right. Well,
all are fine.
Right. My mom kind of kept. My mom kept her name when she got married. She just added like another name
to the.
Yeah, she just. Yeah, kind of like Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, whatever works.
Right.
I think it's more so a thing of women and what women face in terms of marriage. But I could see why Nia Long would say this about marriage, because the societal construct of marriage is an interesting one.
Definitely, and I agree. But marriage do have some benefits, right? I know that it gives permission without permission, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like if as I got $1 million in my account, right, and I pass away tomorrow, that don't necessarily just go to my girlfriend. Right. Even though my girlfriend may be the person who deserves it the most, that don't necessarily just go. So legally, I think it just have some benefits. You know what I mean?
Right. I think there are legal benefits, right? So not just it being a piece of paper, but the person having rights and you not having to write a will or have things actually written out specifically of how you want things to go. But I feel like there's a lot that goes into it. And I think maybe that's why a lot of people aren't getting married as much as before.
Okay. I mean,
I feel like people are slower even our generation, people that I'm around, are slower to get married
Yeah.
than 70 years ago,
Oh, definitely.
where it was just the thing to do.
Right.
I think now there's a lot that has to be considered and a lot that goes into thought before you take that leap, or you have like participating in the divorce rate.
Right, but I don't necessarily believe that has something to do with like the marriage rate of now versus like 70 years ago, right? So 70 years ago, it was
70 years ago was like 1950s, right?
Okay, 1950s. Like let's go to 40s and the 50s, right? Just to make sure like we're covering like the era where like, you know, it was long dresses and you couldn't wear a bikini at the beach type thing, right?
I think some people were in bikinis at the beach.
Yeah, but I think it depends on where you lived, but
okay.
And it had to be like a certain type of. You just couldn't. It wasn't no thongs, right?
No, they weren't thongs.
So I think sexually, right? We've come a long way from that era, right?
Definitely.
Think about the kind of shit you see on Instagram, right? The kind of videos, music videos that you see as far as like the models and, you know what I mean? The girls and dancing. This right now was equivalent to like Luke, and it's normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when Luke did it, it was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So now it's normal. So I just think that because we've come so far within like just plain relationships, right? Certain things are acceptable now that just wasn't acceptable back then, right?
That's true.
So I think that has everything to do with it. Back then in the 40s, you took a girl out and it was understood that if you guys was going to get married. It was understood that if you was going to take place in some kind of like, and I don't want to like sound like I'm saying everybody, but
courtship.
Right. If you're gonna take place in a relationship or courting, the end goal was marriage.
Right.
It's just understood that is not the case now.
No.
Right?
It's not.
That's not the case.
You can't even have the commitment of dating.
Right.
Like,
so and also
we're just talking.
Also, I feel like back then it was like taboo to get divorced.
Right.
So even if it was a bad marriage, you kind of just stayed in it because this was your family now, and it was kind of like taboo to be divorced. People would look at you crazy. So now you're like, oh yeah, divorced them. How long was y'all together? 3 weeks. Then people don't care.
Right.
So I think that has more to do.
But I feel like we're in the generation where parents were getting divorced.
We were just saying.
Or parents were not like together like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So.
Oh, definitely. You mean like our parents?
I don't know. Yeah, like our parents were like.
So like, okay.
Part of that.
So I think because.
So my parents were together.
Right. My parents.
But I think in that generation, my generation. That's when parents were getting divorced.
Yeah, I think our generation is when like it didn't matter. It's like the first sign of like we don't care about being divorced or even married. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that has everything to do with like why people are not getting married as much and also the divorce rate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could like you, love you, and we get married, and then a month later, I don't know what I was thinking. And so, I mean, but I do understand that, some people just not interested. They don't care about that level or that piece of paper or what legally it does for you, right?
Right.
Sometimes marriage can actually make the relationship worse.
Right.
So I mean, I get it. I mean, and maybe they're in an open relationship. Who knows? Who knows?
I don't think it necessarily is an open relationship. I think it's complicated. I feel like when you're in a long relationship and you're not married, there's complications. It's complicated. Something has either happened or there's something there that's preventing it from moving to that next level of commitment.
Okay. Do you think the nigga was just cheating already?
Maybe.
And that's why I feel like low key is like an open relationship.
Maybe they had an agreement.
Yeah, like an understanding.
I think some relationships you just have an understanding. Like,
yeah, like she understands. Just don't embarrass me.
I know what you're doing. You know what I'm doing, but
don't embarrass me.
We're not going to put it out there to have it questioned or embarrassed.
Right.
But I feel like there are also relationships where you don't ask, you don't tell.
Okay, so you think it's one of those? Like it could be.
I don't know.
It could be speculations, but I'm not finna get off into it, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I mean, but
maybe there's not the open agreement, but there's an understanding.
It's an understanding. I'm thinking that they have an understanding. Let me just say this real quick too. It's very unfair how people view other people's relationships and how they judge them unfairly. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Jada Pinkett cheated on Will with a little boy.
But we don't know that that's the case. But go ahead.
See, before I even get it out, you already sticking up for her. But let me just say, nobody cared about how Will felt, how this affected Will, none of that. None. Right? Brought that man to the red table. Hurt him so much that he ended up slapping Chris Rock. That's what I think. So now this situation, people going, oh my God, look what he did to her. Look what he did to Nia Long. How could you cheat on Nia Long? Like, she's just not no regular person.
Right.
Right? Even though, like, she's like Black Star famous.
Yeah.
She's a regular person.
Yeah.
And so, the fact that, people like, oh my goodness, how could you do this to her? But when Jada did it to Will, nobody cared about, fam. It was memes of that man going up. So I just think that people kind of judge relationships, especially, it's definitely a double standard when it comes to the opinion of females, right? And I don't want to sound like I'm bashing females or nothing, but it seems like females are in most cases are gonna like back the female no matter if they right or wrong.
I don't know if that's true.
This does look like a little bit.
I don't know if that's true though. Only because sometimes you just need more information, right?
True indeed.
Right? So like the situation with Jada and Will said he was done with her.
But you don't, come on.
So that leads me to believe that there was a separation, there was a break, I'm not messing with you no more.
Okay, let's say that was the case. Let's just say let's say that was the case.
Right.
You're Jada Pinkett Smith, right? You don't fuck your damn son's friend.
I mean,
so she was wrong.
You shouldn't.
She's wrong anyway, either way, right? But
she was wrong in that situation, yes.
But females will like, oh no, because they wasn't together, so she can fuck whoever she want to. Listen, man, what happened to? Listen, if a person is morally wrong, they're morally wrong.
Right.
You do not fuck your son's friend. I can admit that she was wrong.
Right. I can admit that was wrong.
Right. But it seemed like within the female world, they still kind of like, no, it was okay. They wasn't together. If she wanted to be a cougar, she could be a cougar. And it's like, man.
She could definitely be a cougar. She wants to be a cougar.
Right. But
the fact that it was a family friend of the son and it was convenient for her, whatever happened, was wrong.
Right. So
if it was the other way where Will messed with Willow's friend,
his career would have been over.
Right. So it would have been something different.
He would have never even got to slap Chris Rock yet. It would have already been done. They would have never been at the Oscars anyway.
Right.
So I just think within the female realm, right? I think, and don't get me wrong, I feel like females should support and back other females, regardless, right?
I don't know for regardless, but
I just think that when you do it regardless, it's a support that cannot be broke, right? So I understand, but we gotta, call unmoral shit out when we see it, the end,
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like we don't even know everything that went on with the Nia Long situation, and it's already Nia, no. So I don't
know. I think just because she's black actress royalty,
it's definitely
that's why she's getting the support and response that she's getting.
Wait a minute, Will is not black actor royalty.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is.
What?
I think Will is black actor royalty. He should have got that same kind of.
Will, listen, I think because their relationship was already in question, right?
Right, the whole open relationship
There's already
thing.
speculation about an open relationship. There's already speculation about Will doing whatever Will's gonna do. Will was in love with a whole nother co-star at one point. Will left his wife for Jada at one point.
Right.
It's not all clean over there. But we don't have any information about this Nia relationship, right?
Right.
We don't know what she's done. We don't know her dirt.
Right. But how do you feel?
It could be dirt. It could be a lot of dirt.
Do you
know what I mean?
But what is your gut feeling about what's going on with them?
My gut feeling is that it's not happiness, rainbows and sunshine over there.
No unicorns.
No. It's definitely not. So maybe they were struggling in the relationship and she was just going along with it. Maybe he was just going along with it. But it doesn't feel like it was happy in general anyway.
Okay.
That's my gut. That's what my gut is saying. There's already some issues over there for you to be engaged for 7 years.
Okay, we just got to watch it unfold,
Well, if it does unfold, granted, she has the right to her privacy and for her to process and figure out what she wants to do next and her next steps, which I think is the hard part, right?
Yeah.
You got to figure out life because you just moved a couple weeks ago.
Right. And you ain't moving again.
You're about to start this whole new life.
Yeah.
Then he gets suspended and got a job.
Yeah, I don't know how that
he
worked,
went from being this successful coach without a job.
But do we still get paid though a little bit?
Huh?
Do we still get paid?
Well, I
Is it
don't
like
know.
suspension with pay? You know what I mean?
Maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah, me too. But
So you went from having this man as a successful coach to now this man ain't got no job. Then found out he was cheating on you with somebody. Couldn't have been that long. I don't know how long he was the coach at Boston, or was he in Boston for a long time?
I'm not even sure.
Who knows?
I want to say at least 2 years though.
Right, and so now you're just moving a couple weeks ago with the family.
Right.
And so it just feels like, I mean, it's not in the situation where she is not capable, right?
Right.
Where she's going to be in a bad place because she was depending on whatever it may be financially, right? But I think the disappointment is still going to be there. The embarrassment from it being out in public is going to be there.
Right.
And then having to tell, I don't know how many kids they got together, but a kid or however many kids that
I think they got one
this
son.
happened, and one son.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So I think that was the son they had in 11. So he's like 10. So the effect that it's going to have on him.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just.
So he was I think he was in Boston for 1 year.
A year?
Yeah, so it says 2021 to present. So he was. So, yeah. This would have been probably his second year. So, I know that on the next episode, I kind of want to get into. I sent you an article about Sean King had received close to like $7 million and
Donation.
And yeah, and donations, and maybe they're trying to say that all the money really didn't reach where it was supposed to reach. Right?
Yeah.
Also, I kind of want to tie that into the Black Lives Matter kind of thing that was going on with, they were saying like they was misappropriating funds. And like what that really mean, right? Because I think I have a perspective that maybe most people don't have when it comes to things like this, right? Like I've worked for a nonprofit. I understand the inner workings of it, like how it works, right?
Okay.
And so that's something I just want to talk about on our next episode. So be on the lookout for that. And I want to thank everybody for listening. This was very unique because like as we get more into doing podcasts, you'll actually see like the real personalities and we'll be ourselves more. So the arguing and back and forth, and we'll be more genuine. So this is very unique. I think this is the start of a good thing.
Did we argue?
No, I don't think we argue, but like I think we will in the future. So
Maybe.
just
likely.
So I want to thank everybody for listening. And
thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram at ROAE_podcast.
And as always, mental health is real and self-care is important. And everybody, that is our son, Dalen, in the back.
He had something to say. He was trying to let you know.
So all right. So we'll see you guys next time.